everyone, and welcome to Whose Life Is It Anyway? A show where everything is made up, but the points actually do matter. If any of that sounds a little familiar, well, that's because yes, this is an improv comedy podcast where all the stories you're about to hear were completely made up on the spot, guided and prompted by real improv comedy games. How does it work? Well, two players are tasked with having a podcast-like interview or conversation, making it all up as they go, but there's a third guest who can interrupt at any time and give them new rules or new directions for their conversation via a list of different improv games and guidelines. How do you win? Well, if a player breaks character or simply doesn't follow the rules of the game they're in at the time, the other person is awarded a point, and at the end of a 20-minute time limit, the guest with the most points wins, and of course, becomes known to the world as a comedic genius. So, without any further ado, let's find out who's making stuff up in this episode.
I don't have anything for you guys, so I'm just going to let you come up with whatever.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Fine.
Is that okay?
That'd be funny if that was the intro to the show. That's just how the game started.
So, just fair warning.
Hey, for this improv thing, whatever you guys want to do, I don't give a shit.
I don't have anything for you guys. I don't have anything. But guess what, everybody? I have something for you because this is a brand new episode of Whose Life Is It Anyway? Clearly, it's an improv. Yes. Yeah. Woo. That guy. Yeah,
That
great.
fella.
Welcome to the show. Joining me in this episode, two very close friends of mine. First, Taylor Lumley, the person I will be making up a story with this episode. Taylor, welcome back.
Hola.
Woo!
And the person who just, if you're not watching, he just cartwheeled up to the captain's seat. He just cartwheeled into the host chair. Matty McClelland,
Hello.
welcome back.
Thank you. You can call me Seabiscuit because I'm hoarse.
Hey, hello,
like that.
Seabiscuit. Captain Seabiscuit in the host chair. So, you heard that correctly. Matty is in charge this episode. He's going to be giving us all our little improv games and tasks and all the rules that we're going to have to make up this life story within. And it is Taylor and I's job. It is our duty to make up, hopefully, somewhat of a formidable or entertaining podcast story as we go. So, before we hit the timer, Matty, any rules and regulations for us to begin with? Who's the interviewer? Who's the interviewee?
First of all, you said duty, which I like that.
Duty.
Duty.
That's classic comedy.
Everyone knows that.
I have decided just now,
Okay.
with my great power,
Yes.
that Ross, you are the interviewer. Taylor, you are being interviewed. And that's all I'm going to give you.
Okay. All right.
Do you need a moment to think, or you good to go?
I don't need to think about nothing because I ain't got nothing. No ideas.
I got nothing to lose.
Well, that's not good for the game we're about to play. All right, you give me the signal. And we're off.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome back. I have a wonderful guest this week. Taylor, thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to get to know you a little bit better. Been hearing a lot about you.
Well, yes, for those of you just tuning in, I was the man that drunkenly hit 3 home runs at the Clippers game. However, as is known, I am not a baseball player.
Yeah, you weren't on the team. And
No.
This is interesting. This is pretty interesting. So obviously we're local to Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, absolutely.
Here, go Columbus Clippers, red and blue or whatever the colors are.
Something.
Change.
Not a fan of the Columbus Clippers. Don't know the colors of the team. And so were you even a fan or anything? Or
No,
like,
actually.
were you just there?
I am from Florida originally.
Okay.
I just had a blackout bender weekend and ended up at a baseball game.
Nice.
And here
Okay.
I am falling out of the stands, and it's all over YouTube now. And then I run up, take the bat from the guy, and gave him 1-4, and then just clocked 3 homers right out of the thing. It wasn't
did.
even part of the game.
What's wild about
I'm going to go ahead and stop you. We're going to play a game called Number of Words. Taylor, you got 2 words, bud. Ross,
Yes.
also 2 words.
Got it.
Hit ball.
How far?
Far.
We're drunk?
Very drunk.
How drunk?
Blackout weekend.
For what?
Blackout weekend.
Do you...
Sometimes, yes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh. Okay.
So, anyway.
Drunk, sad,
At baseball?
hit ball,
Real far?
pretty far,
Why drunk?
lose wife.
Clippers fan?
Unfortunately, no.
Why not?
I hate baseball.
What else?
Hate me.
How long?
Long time.
That's sad.
Real sad. Hit ball,
And then
get tackled
real hard?
real hard.
What happened?
Make horny.
Made you?
Surprisingly, yes.
Got arrested.
2 times.
How many?
2 times.
That day?
Same day.
No way.
I'm going to give Ross a point.
Okay, my friend. So yeah, normally I this is a baseball themed podcast. I interview usually big fans. I thought that since you were viral all over the internet for doing this. I mean, never before has a fan jumped onto the field and hit all those home runs back to back. I just assumed you were a huge fan, but now I'm so you had a drunken bender. Wife left you. She wasn't a baseball fan. Also wasn't a fan of you. I didn't really think we'd take that route today, but I mean, you're here, so I might as well. If we're not going to talk about baseball, we might as well talk about you.
Change.
If we're not going to talk about baseball, we might as well kiss.
I could do that. I mean, I'm a single man. First, let me explain the weekend to you a little bit more. So,
Okay, yeah.
my wife leaves me. But a bunch of my friends are just like, "Hey, we're going to take you out of state to a baseball game. You're going to have a good time."
That's pretty friendly. That's nice. That's nice.
And I don't know how we ended up in Columbus, but
We're going to play a game called Alphabet. We're going to start with M.
maybe they thought that losing my wife, I should just get into a new environment.
Now, did it help?
Oh, it helped. You could say it helped a little too much. Once the booze started flowing, it was just game over from there.
Perhaps that wasn't the best idea to just, get super drunk and try to, wash away the pain.
Queen's playing, you're rocking out with your buds. Next thing you know, you're 1,000 miles away in a different state, drunk, hitting some dingers out of the ballpark and getting tackled with a boner. So, and then it's all over the internet. I mean, if you saw the whole video, you saw that when they picked me up, my pants fell down, the boner was out. It was very clear. And I mean, I'm not ashamed of my boner, but I am ashamed of my other behavior. I disrupted the game. They had to reschedule, and the points didn't even count. The points didn't count.
Right. I just, where's the whole boner thing come from? Was it just the excitement of what was happening? Was it, being without the wife for a little bit?
It was mostly that. There's nobody touching it for a while.
Ooh, I'm going to have to give Ross a point.
It was nobody touching it for a while.
Oh, no. As much as I wanted to give you the point, I have to give Ross
I
the
couldn't
point.
think how else to start it.
So yeah, okay. So you hang out with your friends, you're getting wasted. I mean, you end up at a baseball game. So walk me through. I mean, what's going through your mind? Did you guys just go straight in and you went right to the field? Were you in the crowd for a bit, taking it in?
It was like the 6th inning. I made it through most of the game surviving on nachos. I hadn't eaten in several days. And they were just like, well, the bases were loaded. So not only did I ruin a possible grand slam for the team, but
Wow.
They pushed me on the field. They say, "You got it, buddy. You hit the grand slam."
We're going to play Fortunately, Unfortunately, where every line needs to start with fortunately or unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you weren't a big fan of baseball, though. So that kind of sucks that you got dragged there, isn't it?
Fortunately, though, I am a big fan of Denny's and their grand slam. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna knock this out of the park like pancakes.
Fortunately, I think the night that this happened, Denny's was a sponsor, right? Had a big event happening at the stadium.
Unfortunately, yes, it was dozen egg night, and I got pelted several times with eggs as I was taken off the field naked, half naked, with boner. One clipped the end, and it was like I got hit with a damn Mack truck in my penis hole.
Fortunately, it wasn't harder food, though. I mean, at least eggs can crack if it hit, you know?
Unfortunately, if it was a harder food, it probably would have knocked me unconscious. I would have had to deal with my own shame.
Unfortunately, when you do something like that, you do kind of have, I mean, if you're being aware of it, that's probably the worst thing, right?
You know, fortunately enough, the police department did, once they got me in the car, they did lift my pants back up and buckle me up. I kept asking, why are you waiting for me to be in the car? But
Now, unfortunately, I remember seeing an unedited cut that they're showing one version on the news and one version on the internet, where actually when you're walking out to the car, you actually trip.
unfortunately, I did trip. I skinned both my penis and my knees.
Unfortunately, as I'm trying to make these jokes, I'm picturing this happening to you, and I can't finish the line.
Taylor gets a point. He got you with pure comedy, brother. He got you with pure comedy.
So they bring me out, and I'm sure if you saw it on TMZ, they had the full coverage. It wasn't just the field coverage.
Yeah.
And
So you trip and you kind of just land
penis
like,
first.
Right. Yeah.
Just balls all over the ground. Yeah.
And the weird thing, like when you were falling, like one of the police officers goes to like grab you to get you, but then they actually just full
fingers
penis
in
the yeah.
Yeah, and there was a finger went into my butt as well.
Yeah, it's like the fall was like the longest fall ever.
So there's
honestly.
two versions of the viral video. There's what you saw on the field.
Exactly. That and
That
those
was
are
on
the things,
ESPN, and
yeah, that was stuff where I was like, okay,
but then
like
the stuff you see on YouTube is the aftershocks. I like to call
Right,
them
right.
because it was
And that's-
shocking me because he also tasered my butt.
Change.
He also tasered my balls.
really.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you're getting dragged out of the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone congratulate you on hitting 3 home runs?
The owner of the team actually said it's one of the best things that ever happened in their stadium, and I was like,
Change.
the owner of the other team said, thanks for helping my team win.
The other team did end up the Orlando Falcons,
Yes.
Change.
the Toronto Oilers,
Change.
the California Kookbeds were in town that night.
Yeah. we-
Change.
The Portland Packers
All right.
beat the Clippers that night. What was it, 73-10?
Yeah, and you know, hey, go Packers. That's actually why I was at the game. They're my favorite minor league baseball
So the
team.
Portland Packers are your favorite team.
Yes.
All right, we're going to stop. I'm going to distribute a couple lines
Okay. All right.
for the segment. Whose line? Random lines given to both of our contestants that they must work in.
So, okay, one of the big things so the first video that I saw of you, I saw it on the ESPN Top 10.
Yeah, that
Right.
was on the field, the pants coming off.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
blurred
that
it,
was-
thankfully, but then
They did. It was a
Yeah.
big blur, by the way. Congrats.
They had to blur out a lot of piss.
Change.
Pretty small blur, unfortunately. I'm starting to understand why the wife didn't stick around.
Well, she left me for totally different reasons that also include that. But
Change.
she left me because it's very small. But the blur also helped clear out a lot of the piss because I was hammered drunk.
Yeah. I remember them actually seeing they had to try to follow the piss stream
There was a
with
stream.
blur.
Yeah,
is what the crazy thing.
And you know,
was.
they
Yeah.
didn't even try and Photoshop the piss trail out. They're dragging me. I'm pissing on the ground and my face.
Right.
So-
Well, yeah, because it's like you're flopping all
Yeah,
around.
well,
and
and the
everything.
boner, so it was like going down and then back
yeah,
up.
Yeah, that's right. You weren't flopping. You were more of just like swaying.
Which, I
sort
mean,
of, right?
hand to God, once I skinned my boner outside, it did help it go down. I wasn't pissing my own face as much.
So here's the thing. Here's the reason I knew I needed to get you on this show.
Yeah.
Right. At first I was like, oh, he's a major baseball fan. Clearly you weren't. But the thing is, I was actually in a sports bar when the highlight popped up.
Oh,
right.
okay,
So I
yeah.
was seeing it with a bunch of people, and I was
Yeah.
sitting with my friend, and as soon as we see your clip, he looks over at me, and he says, "Let's just drink a beer." So,
Amen, you know?
So he didn't seem to care as much, and I was like, no. I have a podcast that's about major sports fans. I need to reach out to this guy.
And, I bet he was probably like, that guy's wasted. Let's get wasted.
I think that's
probably.
Honestly, it probably was inspiring.
Well,
to
I
my friend
remember,
Vinny.
when the weekend started, my wife had just left me, and my best friend comes up to me and he says, "Hey, buddy, shut up and take this shot with me." And I was like,
Which sounds like the exact start to your weekend.
Hey, man, if that's how we're going, that's how we're going. And I probably took about 465 shots that weekend.
Change.
1,686 shots that weekend.
Change.
3 shots that weekend, and that got me that drunk.
Okay, the whole weekend you took 3 shots. This ended up being on a Sunday. So Friday, Saturday, 3 shots over 2 days, and you ended up being this drunk to bat with a boner. And
I've never really drank before, and the shots they were pouring me, I found out, were actually the size of a movie theater large beverage. They tried to convince me that was a shot. I've never been to a bar before.
Okay, so you hadn't. All right.
I was just apparently chugging gallons of Jack Daniels, and it really just fully uninhibited all my behavior.
Right. I mean, that's understandable. That's okay. I want to get back to the clip, though. Okay.
Yes.
So at the end of the clip, one of the officers actually picks you up, and you looked at him, and you actually saw the camera filming you, and you yelled something that I really kind of wanted to ask you about. You looked directly at the camera, knowing you were being filmed.
Yes.
Boner still out, now skinned with a little bit of blood.
Yeah, shame was gone.
Yeah, I guess at this point you don't care, right? I mean, you also hit 3 home runs, so like, who really cares, right?
Yeah.
But you looked right at the camera and you said, "I'm lactating. We've got to go."
Well, I mean, I didn't want them to mistake the piss on my chest for my lactations as well, because that was seeping through my shirt and my jacket.
So you do have a lactation, like an issue of some sort, or?
I've come to find out only if I get blackout drunk do I lactate.
Okay.
Yes.
So was that the first time figuring that out?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
Change.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, so you knew about it before.
It's one of the reasons that I do not drink. When I was 21, I got, as you do on your 21st birthday, my buddies got me hammered, but then I started pouring milk out of my nipples, and they dropped me off at a petting zoo, and I just got mauled by goats.
Wow, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's crazy because, I vividly remember, even though I was drunk, I look up, we're at this petting zoo, and I saw this painting on the wall, and it said, "I like to straighten my pubic hair. It makes me feel fancy." Okay. And I was like, this is a freaky petting zoo, and now here come all these goats, and I'm in trouble.
Just happened. Man,
I'm in
you
trouble.
have had such a life.
It's a wild one.
Why don't you go ahead and both adopt an accent? Any accent of your choosing.
Why don't you tell me more about your life?
Well, you know what they say. When you're from Florida, everything's a little bit weirder.
So, born and raised in Florida, eh?
For the most part, yes. I had been from Georgia before, but it didn't do me well.
Okay, so born and raised there. You stayed there. Ever become a fan of baseball at all? Like, I know a lot of my listeners are big baseball fans, so I kind of want... I mean, is there anything with baseballs or just the drunken night?
I grew up watching baseball, but only minor league. I don't mess with that shit ass Major League Baseball. Those rich whiners. I only like minor league baseball.
Right. Okay. I get it. So my biggest thing is okay. So you're
Keeping the accents, we're going to play questions only.
What happened in the police car?
What do you think happened in the police car?
Was your dick still out?
I want you to guess how many fingers you think I had in my butthole.
Is that a question?
I'm not sure.
Keeping the accents.
So, not a baseball fan, but you end up in the back of the police car. Pants still down, right? And unfortunately, when you're being dragged to the police car, you scrape your dick, you got a hand in your butthole, hand on your... all this sort of stuff. Did you think about pressing any charges to the police, or were you just too far gone at that point?
You could say I was too far gone, but mostly, I was worried about being on one of those Florida Man websites.
Keeping the accents. I'm really liking them. Let's play If You Know What I Mean.
Mickey and a Canadian sit down to make a podcast.
About a man scraping his penis.
If you know what I mean. Is that what you said?
That is what I said.
That is what the host said. I was just checking because I was too focused on what was happening over here.
Okay, Ross.
So, you left a little with a little bit of a soft bat that night, if you know what I mean.
It was soft, but only because I knocked it out of the park, if you know what I mean.
But not exactly a home run, if you catch my drift.
There was goo all over those grounds, if you know what I'm saying.
Did you make it to third base with any of the police officers, if you catch my drift?
You could say I popped a couple dingers, if you know what I mean.
I think you're going to win this game if you catch my drift.
You could say I catched some of those cops drift that night, if you know what I'm saying.
One could say I technically gave up on this game my last sentence, but still got to play, if you know what I mean.
That's a point
I
for
appreciate
Taylor.
you giving me another shot.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to see where he was going. All right, you can drop the accents if you want to, or you can keep them. It's up to you.
I don't know about that.
Continue.
So you're in the back of the police car. What's going through your mind at this point? I mean, because cameras are everywhere. You do end up on, I mean, I don't know if you've seen, I assume you have by now. It's went pretty viral. TMZ, ESPN, you went on one of those Florida Man websites too. You ended up being
I was
there,
on the
right?
cover of FloridaManWeekly.org
Yeah.
for about a month. They followed my...
I'm going to go ahead and use my host power and play podcast producer. You were on the cover of Playboy magazine. After they had seen you and your aura in your body and what happened, they said, "That's our guy."
So, apparently they catch my penis on ESPN. Not catch it. It didn't physically fly off my body. But
Well, right.
Change.
it physically flew off my body. I had to get it reattached because I scraped it so hard on the ground outside the place.
I saw that in the unedited version. It actually sort of like dislocate, almost like you rip a hot dog in half.
Yeah, a little bit. And then when I went to the doctor, they stitched a zipper around it. So now I can just zip my penis off like it's those tearaway pants.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I get a call about 2 weeks later from a man who's like, "Hey, I run Playboy magazine." And I was like, "Yeah, I bet you do, Mr. Playboy magazine runner." And he
That's what
was
I would
just
say.
like, "I actually run Playboy magazine." I was like, "Oh, no shit." And then he was like, "We want you on our cover, Zipper Penis." And that was, if you remember, that was the name.
Yeah.
Because it came out after the fact that I had
Right.
yeah.
Zipper penis.
They're like,
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what happened to this man's penis after it scratched
Right.
off.
We actually, I think you gave my podcast producers the cover of that magazine, so
I
I think
did.
we'll edit it in right now.
If you see, it's Zipper Penis.
Right
and then with
there.
the pink background. I chose the pink background, by the way. I wanted to.
We're coming up on the end of the end of the round here. We're gonna end it with another round of number of words. You both got 3.
So Playboy, huh?
Big dreams.
So what's next?
Starring movie, maybe.
Like baseball now?
I like it a bit less.
A little bit less?
Umpire tackled painfully.
But rock hard.
I like painfully.
That checks out.
Zipper Penis. Check.
How big? Check.
Baseball gave check.
Baseball paid you?
Lot and a lot of money.
And that's the end of the game right there.
Lot money.
Yeah. I was like, shit.
Wow. What a story.
I mean, hey, one man's drunken weekend can create a whole new life for you.
Off of 3 shots.
And a zipper penis.
And you ended up with honestly, starts out kind of wacky and sad, like, oh man, this guy breaks up.
Yeah.
Kind of fun and wacky, and then it's like, oh man, his wife left him, all this sort of stuff.
And then he's on the cover of Playboy getting a starring movie.
End up with a futuristic zipper penis.
right.
You're getting on the cover of Playboy, big checks.
Yeah, it's a lot like Timothée Chalamet. You know, he just kind of came up overnight out of nowhere.
That's right.
Because he ran on a baseball field with a boner.
Right, and he also has a zipper penis.
That is
So
true.
that's the end of our game. I do have some scores here.
All right, points are in.
The points matter, apparently.
That's
what I've been told.
I don't know who made the rules.
That's what I've been told. Ross,
Yes.
you got 4 points.
All right.
Taylor, you got 5 points.
I won once.
I'm just kidding. You got 2 points, Taylor.
Shit butt ass.
Zipper penis.
Son of a zipper penis.
Son of Zipper Penis. That's your second movie.
Oh my
That's the
God.
sequel.
Damn,
The Squeakquel,
okay.
if you will.
The Squeakquel. The Zipquel.
Yeah.
We're not. Well, I'll edit that. Somebody edit that out. Edit that out right now. 4-2.
4-2.
4-2. 4-2.
Like, just like that baseball game.
Just like that baseball game where your character had the fortitude to run to the field and
Pretty
hit
good.
Get tackled with a bone.
three home runs.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all you can give me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all-
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. We're going to wrap up this episode. I won, okay? But we all won with a story like that. And with the future, the viewers, if you're listening to this, you're missing out because I am going to edit in Taylor's face on a cover of Playboy with a zipper penis as a cover. So that will have popped up.
Amen.
So you missed that.
Can
so
you send
probably-
me privately?
I will send you the file so you can, yes. And
Taylor, can you send him a picture of your penis to put a zipper on?
I
Okay.
actually already. You weren't paying attention. I texted to you while we were talking.
Oh, that's sick. Okay. And Maddie, I will send you a photo of me seeing the picture of his penis holding the printout of the magazine cover that I sent him as a gift. It'll be like on my computer behind me, and I'll send you that, like my reaction vid.
Yeah.
don't
'Cause
do
we
that.
know.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
because
can- so you can have
we
that.
know you love reaction.
Don't do
That's
that. Don't
true.
do any of that.
Maddie, if anybody wants to find all the reaction video content that you make around the internet, like you do,
I do.
where can they follow you at other than right here?
Right there, that's good. I do mukbang reactions where I just talk about how good it is, how they're eating so much things in front of me. At Matty_online on the Instagram.com.
Taylor, if anyone wants to come to talk to you about baseball and their love of baseball, where can they find you other than at T-Lums Loves B-Ball right here?
Actually, if you click right here on the name,
Clickable link.
you can follow directly from right here, but you have to stay in front of your TV or screen. So
That's true.
yeah.
That's true.
It's a new app we're trying out.
So here's the thing. We're going to say goodbye, but Maddie, I feel bad that you had to sit there the entire time and didn't get to play any of the games. So we're going to play one word at a time as we tell everybody goodbye and formulate some wonderful goodbye. And I think it should be baseball themed, right? So, Maddie, kick us off.
Dingers.
Every
Time
I.
go
to
The.
field,
there's
Women.
nowhere
to
Look.
at
me
Hitting.
all
those
Dingers.
the classic baseball song, Dingers.